Peace and Black Power family. This is your host, Rahiem Shabazz, and we are here for another episode of Necessary Blackness podcast. And I am joined by my lovely co-host, Marcy Lee. She's in the building. And we have a special guest tonight, one of the twin pillars, my brother Red Pill. And for those that don't know Red Pill, he is a thought leader in the community. He is also an entrepreneur, a public speaker, as well as a recording artist. How you doing, my brother?
A content creator.
Content creator, among many things.
An Afrofuturist.
Afrofuturist. So let's get going. Roll call.
A Renaissance man.
Okay.
A creative.
All right.
A scholar.
A
master teacher.
All that.
A master student.
That's
you
right.
know, and a servant.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm in service. I'm in service ever since I've come on the scene. That's been one of my my traits. Me and my whole family, we've been of service. So yeah.
That's what it is, man. And that's the most humblest thing you can say, to be of service and to be a servant to our people. Now, I know a lot
of people, the proof is in the pudding,
Yeah, indeed. A lot of people know you from your journey. Some don't. So I want you to start off, tell us how you progressed on your journey to consciousness. I know when I came into it, we called it knowledge of self. And I know there's a difference between self and consciousness. If you can go into that, starting it off for us.
Yes. Consciousness would be an iteration, keyword iteration of knowledge of self, meaning that it's all things change, right? Nothing remains the same. So if all things change, then the lexicon is going to change with it. And also the definition or the description. You can change things by changing the description and the definition of certain things. That's why it's important for the lexicon to always, be ever evolving. Henceforth, what they call ebonics, or what they call mumble, or what they call, slang and things of that nature, that's just the redefinition of certain terms. Utilizing language the way that we did with all languages. We manipulated languages forever. So in hip hop, we just said we dope. Coming out of the dope, the war on really the war on the Black Power movement. The war on Black consciousness was the Opium Wars. What they erroneously called the dope era, and they celebrated. But that was the war on Black consciousness, like the crack war, or the crack era was another assault on the children of the dope, the people of the dope era. Just talk to the elders; they'll let you know what it is. They'll tell you how it got turned upside down, and how dangerous dope was, and heroin, how destructive it was to our infrastructure, and it slowed down the initial pace that our people were going in, right? Starting from 1920s, we were being introduced with a new batch, a new era, and a whole new race of intellects, Black intellects, but not just regular Black intellects who were active, and not just regular active where they bumping their gums. No, they were making things move. They were making things disappear and reappear. How about that? They were really active, right? And they had organizations with 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 individuals, men and women, right? Who, according to the records, were very powerful, because the people who were inventing things, the people who went and fought 2 world wars, the people who were buying estates that the damn great-grandchildren are out here selling for peanuts, or they're not maintaining, the people who were buying, who bought those houses that your grandmother lived in, they were from that era. It was called the Roaring Twenties. You know what I'm talking about? When the Great Depression happened, they don't talk about it, but our people was all right. So
Indeed.
there was an introduction of consciousness through Noble Drew Ali, coming out of Chicago and Detroit and Newark, New Jersey, right? All of the places are still, that I'll speak about, that are hallmarks to where we are right now, 100 years ago, are the same places that are hotbeds right now. So Noble Drew Ali he doesn't just bring more science to America. Noble Drew Ali restores a piece of history that is it's a puzzle that you can only complete your puzzle with if you're into any kind of godship, if you're looking for yourself in any type of history. If you don't have certain type of pieces in that puzzle, you have an incomplete puzzle. So who you think you may be, or who you think you are, or who you think you're not, how the hell do you know if you don't have the whole puzzle? Right? And that puzzle is the Moorish history, going all the way back to Spain, going all the way back to Hannibal Barker, going all the way back to Kemet. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't know anything about that storyline, you're not gonna fare well in today's society, because it's a lot of things that are set up as a result of the conflict that is continuing. It never stopped. There's a continuing conflict. There's an ongoing conflict between what was called Christendom at that time and what they called the Muslims. Or, they had many different names for them: Saracens, Moors, Muslims, Muslims. There was a lot of terms for these people and whatnot. All right, peace of God. So, throughout history, we've had issues with, first, it was nation state. Before it was nation states, it was like clans, right? So you have families in Europe, not even royal families. You just have, you have these families, but then you also have these empires like Queen Isabella, King Ferdinand. Before it was Spain, before it was France, before it was Germany, they were tribes. They were the Germanic tribes. They were the Ostrogoths, the Visigoths, the Vandals, all of these barbaric tribes. And then they formed what was known as Germany. So they become nation states later on. These nation states are the nation states that have their fingerprints in what we call slavery.
Absolutely.
But what we call slavery is a result of many wars that were lost, that we lost. And as a result of losing those wars, there was an onslaught from an advancing enemy who basically, after they toppled the Moorish Empire in Spain and in Europe and whatnot, they came into the Americas and did the same thing here. What the hell do you think Montezuma, when they sacked all of those cities of gold and silver, and they took those captives to Europe, and then they brought them to other places? That was the first trade, right? They were taking gold and silver out of the Americas. This is where all of the piracy comes in, because those ships were being sacked by Moors and other people that were on the high seas. There were no airplanes. There were no way to get things around. The ocean was where everything took place. That's where all of the business was conducted. That's why you have these maritime laws. That's where bodies were transferred. That's where empires were invading other empires. You had to go through the seas. If you're talking about Europe into the New World, which is the Americas, that's all oceanic. But we're the original seamen. We are the, what I'm saying? That's why a lot of our people are in the Marines, and they were merchant seamen and whatnot. Being on the seas, that's something that a lot of us are used to as navigators. So these Europeans who we've always had issues with, we have issues with them today. Now these Europeans fall underneath the status of white people. They're no longer nation states. They're no longer tribes and whatnot. They fall under white people. People don't even know who they're going up against. They just say white. The they just say black, but they don't know within black there's so many different nations of us. There's so many different tribes of us. There's so many different, pedigrees,
Yeah.
pedigrees of, huh?
There's so many different variations.
Variation stocks, it's people ignore that. They raise all of these other animals and they apply those same principles. You have stock in dogs, you got stock in horses, you got thoroughbreds, and then you got mules,
Yeah.
but they
But
don't want to apply that to human beings because Europeans who taught them, right, and tricked them and lied to them. They taught them to shame to themselves to think like that, because when we thought scientific, when we thought with facts, you know what I mean, rather than with emotions, we were all faring in a better place. Like 100 years ago, when Noble Drew Ali was on the scene, and then when Elijah Muhammad came on the scene, and then when Marcus Garvey came on the scene. These are all followed. These men followed each other in a well-known trajectory. They didn't all pop up at once. If one ran so the other one can fly. And 100 years later, we find ourselves within the net that they casted, or they would say we're living in their dreams, because they taught you in school that you was living in Martin Luther's dream, but they didn't say anything about you living in Elijah Muhammad's dream, or in Noble Drew Ali's dream, or in Marcus Mosiah Garvey's dream. And let me qualify this real quick, because I don't want it to go over nobody's head. What people call consciousness today is an iteration, right, of what those three men brought about 100 years ago. I call them the trifecta. And they brought in 100 year. They brought in they're part of 100-year dynasty. Because if you go to 1920 and go to 2020, and if you really on your study and you do your research and you weigh it out, same thing is happening 100 years later that was happening back then.
absolutely.
They called this the Red Summer. That they called that 100 years ago. We had a Red Summer this summer. It started with George Floyd and some other shit. It started with Aubrey when he was jogging. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't think that 1,000 plus black melanated people died at the hands of Europeans this summer, run the numbers up. You know what I'm talking about? Go talk to the people who count, who keep the count. You know what I mean? And see what's the body count. Like like the people that's out there that follow the drill rappers. You know all of their body counts. Why don't you go and find out what's the body count on your side? Because they was out here drilling you. These people was out here drilling y'all. And y'all didn't put too many numbers on their side, but they was out here catching stains on you. So this was a red summer.
I want you to stop right there, because we're going to get into that red summer. We're going to get
Yeah.
into it, right? But I want Marcy Lee, she got some questions she want to ask you. So
No
I
problem.
want to interject, ask her the question, because we're going to go in a trajectory and we're going to lead it up to this red summer. I want you to take us there yet. You ready, Marcy?
Of course.
All
well,
right.
I always started off when I, come to speak with one of our guests. I have to say, I'm so happy that you're here with us. You are someone that's highly requested. And I think that you have a message that a lot of people need to hear, because you talked about being a Renaissance man, a thought leader. And that's something that I would absolutely agree with. You have these events that you do called Melanin Mondays.
Yes.
And I happened to catch the last one. You touched on a lot of topics during that event, but something that stood out to me was something you said regarding the 2020 election. I know we all tired of the 2020 election, but it's not really about that. It's about living in light. You said something along the lines of hug your enemy, like they need a hug, they need love.
Right.
And that really stuck out to me a lot. Can you speak more on what something like that would look like when we've had such a tumultuous relationship with some folks from other communities? How would that look like for our people?
Well, we have to put a context of what that statement was used in. You know what I mean? The context that it was said is that for anybody to go to sleep who's being hated on, with hate in their heart, for somebody who's hating on them, then that person has succeeded in affecting the person that they're hating on, right? So if we walking around knowing that, you know, it's being said that, you know, white people, or because that's what they call them, right? That white people hate us. And then if I go to sleep at night with hate in my heart because somebody has been told to me that somebody hates me, right? And I'm hating them, but I'm not doing nothing to them. I'm like, oh, I hate you too. And I'm just always filled with vitriol, and I'm angry, and I'm getting wrinkles, you know what I mean? And I have a heavy heart, but I'm being mean to people who don't even look like those people, right? Because chances are I'm not even in spaces with those people every single day of my life. I'm also around my family and my friends and people who look like me. Mm-hmm. So if they're convincing you in the media, if they're convincing you in other places through fear mongering and through victimhood, right? Like through victimhood consciousness and through wokeness, that everybody hates you. You need to hate them. What I would say is, what you should do, you should love yourself. You should love yourself for the fact that somebody would even find it within their day and their time and spend so much energy hating you. There's nothing that you could do to change anybody's mind because there's something that they see in you that they don't have. You're reminding them of something that they don't necessarily possess. Usually that's your melanin. 9 times out of 10, your glow is attached to your melanin. That's something that they don't have. Put $10,000 worth of copper or stones on my neck, and put $10,000 worth of diamonds around one of their necks, and let's see who shines the best. Because our shine comes from within. We have a certain glow to us. We have a certain light to us. We have a certain type of anointment. You know, when they talk about the anointed ones, well, if the real anointed ones are the ones who are always shining. And I don't mean to knock nobody's hustle, but they're not known for shining. You know what I'm talking about? The most important thing in their reality is fake lights. If you're in entertainment, you know that they harp on lights. The most important thing to them is the lights, right? We don't need all that light. Give us a ring light. We'll go, you know what I'm saying? It should be Hollywood ready. You know, we don't need that many lights. We already shining. They try to dim you down and put all kind of shit on top of your light. That's where all of the makeup, that's where all of the coverings come from. You know what I mean? That's where these masks come from. They don't want you to shine. You know, so what I'm saying is I said they need a hug. I didn't say that we need to hug them. I said they need a hug because they're carrying on and they're exemplifying traits. It's beyond weakness at this point. They're exemplifying traits. They're exemplifying traits of a dying breed. They're exemplifying traits of, you know, wanting to transfer their insecurities, their quote unquote toxicities, because it's very toxic. It's what people would call projection, deflection, toxic masculinity. Because remember, if this is a patriarchal society that has reached this level where it's so cancerous and toxic that nobody can take it, right? Well, goddamn it, who the hell are you talking about? You know you're talking about. You know who got this whole thing poisoned. You know who got this whole thing artificial. You know who got this whole thing. You know who got goddamn nature acting a fool because they trying to wash these people up. You know who it is. We don't have to play retardo and to act like people who look like us, who were living in dismal conditions because of their economic, you know, because they're vassals to this quote unquote colonial power. or they're vassals to this. It's bigger than colonial because it's the church and the state. It's the crown and the church that's at work. They work in tandem. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
They work in tandem. Go and research the Inter Caetera Divina. Right? This is extra credit. You know what I'm talking about? I might start giving out crowns and shit. I might start giving out stones when people do homework. We have to make this insensitive base. I'm in the lab cooking up with some black geniuses about tokenizing things, insensitives, because I want to bring a reward system, gamification. All of these things are going to be at play in 21. You know what I mean? Because this is the internet 4.0. This is the web 4.0. We got to step it up, you know.
So when you just said tokenism, are you saying within the context of our community, like flipping it, like rewarding those who step away from?
Yes, I'm talking about tokenizing. Okay. I'm talking using cryptocurrency lingo and lexicon. Henceforth, like I said earlier, you got to change the language in order to expand the possibilities. So tokenizing the Red Summer album is me taking a physical product, CDs that are obsolete. They don't buy them anymore. It's really boutique-ish. I'm printing them up and I'm printing vinyl and cassettes, but it's still boutique-ish. That's not where the economy, the new economy doesn't speak of that. That's what is called analog. You know what I'm talking about? That is outdated. So the tokenization of your project is where we headed. I'm headed to the blockchain, you know, utilizing crypto and other altcoins and whatnot, and tokenizing many different aspects. I could tokenize each song, you know, because my project is a soundtrack. So it's also going to have a visual component to it. So looking up tokenization, I think that should be something that the audience will find rather, you know, enlightening. And I have a brother that's teaching me. His name is Chicago Crypto Hustler. And if you need me to slide y'all his information, he's part of the network. You know, I don't have a problem doing that because I'm a bridge builder. You know, I'm a bridge builder. I'm a liaison. You know, I'm a plug. So
before you build that bridge, right? Let's keep it on the rap. And since we're on the rap, right?
Hip hop.
I seen you post something about the recent 3 shootings that happened within a span. You have Mo 3, Bootsy, and then you had Benny the Butcher. Do you think this is a coincidence, or do you think that rap has become a dangerous sport?
I mean, yo.
3 people from this. Oh, this is another thing. 3 people from the same record label, Empire. The Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Like, I don't believe in coincidences. You know, I do too much research to believe in coincidences. People are like, yo, do you think that they set them up to get shot? I'm like, nah, not at all. You know, but all of these labels, they know what's going on. They know who they're signing. They know what they're signing into. And they're encouraging. And they're also, my whole thing is the insurance policies. The fact that if you sign a gangster rapper, you have to insure that rapper against the quote unquote shareholders in each one of these labels, because the labels are businesses. They have shareholders. So the shareholders are not going to sign little gunshots, $10 million out of their quote unquote annual, you know, out of their budget. And there's no insurance worth $100 million on that at-risk artist. And then there's about 4 other insurances that they're going to take out on him. Because once you sign that clause, the way that they're owning people in the contract, you mean to tell me that there's no insurance? They're not insuring anything? Yeah, right. So what I'm saying is a label like Empire will give certain people a bag. They will, because people are talking about, well, they signing people because they got numbers. No, everybody got numbers. What are you talking about? Everybody got numbers. The men lie, women lie. Numbers do, because in this digital age, you can manipulate numbers. So you could buy numbers. Like, don't let me take you to a farm and whatnot and show you how it's done.
Mm.
So men lie, women lie, and numbers do. What are you talking about? They got deep fakes and all of that. What do you mean? Everything is this is the matrix. This is This could be manipulated. This is a video game. This whole thing is a cheat code. If you know, you know. And if you don't, you don't. But what I know is that these labels are benefiting and they're bankrolling gang wars. Because if I sign a drill rapper and I give him $1 million and I know how the drillers are drilling, then I just help to increase the murder rate in Brooklyn or Chicago. And then it's on the internet. So if I'm a 10-year-old and I got a drill rapper that I rock with and I love his music, then in order to love his music, I gotta hate his eye. There can only be one. This is the whole versus shit. There can only be one. There is no two. There's only one. So if I'm riding with this dude and he got beef with that dude, and it's not rap beef, this is body beef. This is not rap beef. This is straight murders. Do you know what a drill is? Do you know what you do when you spin the block? They're not going around the block to fist fight. So let's be clear as to what's going on. So how does it fare when and here it is, these same Black Lives Matter, the same people that go marching with you, but don't give you no money to do nothing, no bag. No, people be talking about, oh, they're giving out to charities. No, nigga. When it's 100,000 of them marching with you, you're supposed to get the bag right there. What are you talking about? How dare you niggas allow a tomorrow to happen when you niggas was marching talking about there's no tomorrow? I don't know if I'm gonna make it tomorrow. But you get around all of those white folk and you don't tap no pockets. You're not walking away with $1 million at every rally that you go to. You're not bringing $1 million back to the trenches or the slums or wherever it needs some type of help or a budget or a financial windfall. I could name you 1 million places. But if you're gonna go out and march with 100,000 donors and they're not donating a dime, what are you doing? And they keep doing this. They talk about no justice, no peace. Give me $1 million if somebody do some injustices, and I'll show you how you could get peace. And I can't go any further than that. Give me $1 million. I'll show you how we could clean and get you all of the justice that you want. But what the labels are doing, because remember,
oh, keep going.
These labels are ran by who? The same people who we were talking about this summer, and we saw clearly through the summer leading up to right now how these people flex their muscle in the media, how these people flex their muscle at the record labels, how they flex their muscle at the movie studios, how they flex their muscles all over in press, because they're the small hats who have occupied a land, and people say they're not from that land, if you know who I'm talking about. And they control a lot of things, to the fact where we used to think that it was the quote unquote, because remember what they call the white supremacists, when you really look at the scheme of things, they might be the patsies. It might be a whole nother group that's running things, and they're using them as the fall guy. The same way that they use the Italian mob as the fall guy when they were really the ones doing the dirt and getting super busy. But you don't see movies on the quote unquote Jewish mafia. Why is that? Where's the highlights on them?
Gangsters move in silence.
Kaze Sosa, exactly. Because remember, the usual suspects, all of those men represented nationalities. Kaiser Sose, verbal, represented the Yahudi. And the whole thing was the devil, the greatest trick that he played was he convinced you that he didn't exist. And he was right there the whole time, making things up as he go along. right? Because wasn't he sitting there playing? He's playing all weak. He's playing all meek. The meek shall inherit the earth. He's playing Meek Millie. He's playing like he's not with it. But when you turn around, he's with all the shits.
Mm-hmm.
And then some. So they play a real wicked hand. And these same people who are running things, they're the ones that are manipulating the property value. They're manipulating the crime. They're manipulating a lot of things. Remember, when you go to these meetings and whatnot, what do they talk about, Brother Rahiem? There's the reports that they have at these meetings. They talk about the police reports. They talk about the property value. They're talking about all of these police incidents. There's all of these things that go on. It's big data. And it goes all the way to the top, to these big labels, all the way to, because these are multinational, multi-billion-dollar industries, but they're tied into real estate. So they know if they sign Chief Keef in Chicago, they know that the murder rate is about to go up. They know that the property is about to go down. They know if they sign if they sign a certain rapper who is a trap rapper who's pushing a certain type of thing, and then do what? These are banks. So they're bankrolling the message. They're putting,
like with you speaking on this, you know, because a lot of times our community, we're looking for leadership. Like that's something that has come up in discussion a lot. Right. I know Neely Fuller Jr. and people like that have also spoken on it. And you have recently also said that we need to trash that and focus on being our own leaders.
Right.
Why don't you speak to the people about that?
Well, what is there to speak to them about? You know, leaders are powerful. We have, because many of us are, I'm sorry to cut your wisdom.
No, good.
Yeah, because many of us have been conditioned to be Christians, you know, and we have the savior mentality because we've been, you know, somewhat given the Jesus Christ narrative, right? Or it's a program. You know, somebody's coming to save you. Somebody's there to help you. Somebody is going to fight your battles for you. Somebody's magically going to appear and stop the trauma, or they're going to stop you from dying. Somebody's going to, feed you. And then that leads into this type of mentality where people are, you know, comfortable being vassals or being a beggar nation or being a welfare state, that's what they call it, right? Or just being subservient when they don't come from that. You know what I mean? It don't look good on them because that's not what all of them come from. Remember, there's different tribes amongst us. There's different. They threw us all in a can like sardines and cut our heads and our legs off and say because you know sardines are different fish, but they just cut the heads and the legs off and they throw it in the can and they call it sardine. There's no fish on the planet named a sardine, you know, and that's how they bunched us all in and just painted us black. And then the European nations who were at 3 world wars with each other, they bunched themselves in and painted themselves white because that's a new term. That's a social construct. It's not even real. So we live in these fake realities. We live in these fake boxes. And then the biggest box is that you're not responsible for your own salvation. That you're not, because these 3 men that I talked about who are responsible for writing the code that I'm functioning off of right now, and then all 3 of us are operating off of right now. These were the architects in the Matrix. They were all talking about doing for self, governing your mental, being able to teach yourself, heal yourself, feed yourself, and go out and get it yourself because you got to get it for your people first. You have to get it for your nation first. You got to get it for your tribe first. What are you talking about? I'm talking about, you know, Marcus Garvey, right? Talking about do for self. He went ahead and put his money where his mouth was and went and got 2 ships, the equivalent of getting 2 jumbo jets, not no G5s, big 747s, right? And then he got sabotaged by a nigga. You know what I'm talking about? By an Agent Smith in the Matrix. It don't matter the color. Agent Smith, they showed you in the Matrix, it could be your grandmother. Don't get caught up on, you get caught up on color, you're not going to make it out the Matrix. And that's Red Pill telling you. It has nothing to do with color. A nigga blue black will cross you. You got to see if he's Agent Smith or he's part of the team that's in Zion. Because if he's not in Zion with you, They showed you in the movie. I think we might have to decode it again. They showed you in the movie. If they not with you, they against you. If they're not on the team, nigga, it's Agent Smith. They are briefing or debriefing. You're talking about don't snitch. They're debriefing the Matrix. Even when they're in the house, remember it showed you. You could be in a house talking. Your phone is the Matrix. Your TV is the Matrix. Your goddamn clock is the Matrix. Your lighter, they hearing, they seeing. So Agent Smith is everywhere.
Yo, let me interject real quick, right? Because I don't want to forget this thought. You're definitely right when you said that we don't need leaders. I always tell people we need to look for leadership within ourselves and get away from that savior mentality. And the choir is always louder than the soloist. So we come together as one and will make more noise than one person sitting up there trying to speak and teach to the masses, because we know that, you know, they can assassinate them, they can subvert the movement, and they can make them sell out. We know that from leadership. Now, you described 3 leaders. You said Mark Harvey, said Elijah Muhammad, and Noble Drew Ali. You know, I'm a said person of that ability, right? So you know we got to put the Father Allah in there. You know, if we're going to keep going, bring it up to date, we got to bring the Father Allah in there.
But you got to remember what I'm pointing out to you. I'm giving you the architects. And from the architects, many heads have grown from them.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? Many branches have grown from the architects. So even all of us, you would be like, what about the brothers that's dealing with Kemet? I would say from the Moorish science, from what Elijah brought, with the Nation of Islam and whatnot, and for what Marcus Garvey brought, going back into Africa and reclaiming not just the treasures, greedy Negroes, not y'all, not just the treasures. You know, people want rings and chains. No, the treasures, the information. The treasures of Africa is learning about Yoruba, learning about Kemet, learning about everything that Africa is. Mm-hmm. So all of that is what we on right now. There would be no Father Allah if there were no Elijah. There would be no Louis Farrakhan. There would be no my guy. You know what I'm saying? Khalid Muhammad. They wouldn't be. What are you talking about? If there were, we got to deal with foundation. So the foundation, I'm giving you the 100-year span. I'm not negating anything before, after. But and these are just figureheads, because not just about them. It's so much bigger, because when they tell the story of today, 100 years from now, they're going to pick figureheads, and they might pick them wrong. They might pick them wrong. So it's important that we get this shit right now, and we document it, and we put it out there, and we clean this thing up. Because if we were all to just die right now, if they Thanos snapped us, or if we were all, if something would have happened, and they would have to look back and be like, yo, who was getting busy, and who was him, and who was the leader? Nigga, they might have Al Sharpton as the leader.
Oh no.
I'm just saying. Understand how crazy it is right now.
Man.
They'll give Obama as the leader. We have to document today, because tomorrow is not promised. They're gonna play with the future. They're gonna play around with the story. So I'm saying that the Trinity, the foundation of and even with the Israelites, the Hebrew Israel, or the Black Zionists, because that was lit before any of these things. That was really popping in the late 1800s. They were calling themselves Black Zionists, going back to Zion. In the Matrix, they're in Zion. The Black Zionist movement, the Canaanites. It was a real movement, and it was very strong. And then it grew, and then we started getting into the school of knowledge of Moorish science. Remember, it was hidden. If you were telling a Black man in the 1900s who was very much astute in occult science, they read their books. Go and read the patents of all of the Black people who were the inventors in the late 1800s. Go and read Frederick Douglass's and them journals. What the fuck what are you talking about? They were well learned. Okay, they were well learned. They were inventing things that we have not yet gotten past these days. We haven't toppled them. We haven't surpassed them with our inventions. We haven't improved upon what they brought to the table in terms of, we're still using their inventions. What are you talking about? And we don't even own none of them. We're not even, people that's melanated, they're not even upgrading that shit. You're letting Chinese people do it. And there's a whole patent office out there that you could cross-reference. And all of these melanated babies that are wild geniuses right now, who are really at home getting lied to on a computer, you could really cut the cord. You know what I'm talking about?
Cut the
You know,
cord.
you got to thank COVID. They're giving you a ways out. You could cut the cord and put on a real computer, giving these children some real goddamn information and upgrading their learning by many grades. They're piecemealing geniuses right now, giving them this baby food, and they're way smarter than that. Let these children improve upon all of these black inventors, and let's have a next renaissance. You know, we need 3D printers in the crib. We need laser cutters, the laser printer. They're like 10 racks up to 40 racks. We need those. We need community centers where there's 3D printers. These children are learning. They have to have Raspberry Pi, which is the little computers that you could do wearable technology.
Mm-hmm.
They need to have the Oculus. They need to be programming virtual reality video games, augmented reality. They need to be wearing the Microsoft HoloLens, the Oculus Rifts. They need to know about all of that right now so they could compete. So these other children are going to run laps around them. It's going to be ugly because they have us protesting. They have us in our fear body. They got us looking for a leader. They got the goofy leaders that they're putting out there. They're shadow banning, blocking, and cutting channels and deplatforming people with real voices. And they're allowing people who, you know how there's industry plants? Well, the conscious community has industry plants. There's niggas that have been planted in here.
Absolutely.
You know, that people placed in here. And, you know, they don't come from where we come from. I don't know where they come from. A lot of people come from left field sometimes. You know, because this is a deregulated. Remember, this is it went from a regulated space. This is what conscious looks like with deregulation. Yeah. What you see right now is what deregulation and consciousness is.
We got to regulate it back.
Right, you do, but you can't be mad if you're on the frequency of what today is. We're in the now. I'm presently present in the now. So I know that there's deregulation across the border. So I see deregulation in this community. I just fall back. I'm not mad at it. Let the chips fall where they may. You know what I'm talking about? Because the people they did it to themselves. They did it to themselves. The thought leaders who were goofies, the thought leaders who fell on their swords, the niggas that stopped running. Nipsey said it's a marathon. Why they stopped running? There's not a lot of people running this race still. I'm sorry to give you the, I don't want to break the bad news to all of the listeners and whatnot. You know what I mean? Because they be thinking that some of their thought leaders are in the race, and that they're really up there. They're like, they don't realize that they're 100 laps behind. Yeah, they jogging and whatnot, but they're not running at these. I'm talking about there was thoroughbreds on these tracks a few years ago. I don't mean to cut your wisdom. Go ahead.
Nah, all you got to do is put the clean glass next to the dirty glass, and it's going to show and prove within a limit of no time who's actually running the race and who.
Yeah, I mean, we got to ask these questions. It's a hard question. It's hard to ask, but the community have to. If we want order, we got to ask these hard questions. Because
it might be a hard question. I'm not sure. But in regards to some of these thought leaders, that's a little bit disappointing that we had high hopes for. And like you said, they may have fallen on their sword.
They were the lesson.
You have seemed to been able to keep a very good reputation. Like, I have not heard anything sideways about you. I'm wondering, how do you go about your interactions to maybe secure that situation? Like, what advice can you give people, if you wouldn't mind, to have a reputation that people can look to as an example?
I mean, the easiest answer that I would say is to be yourself. That's where I find solace. I'm being myself. My freedom came when I allowed myself to be myself. And I was comfortable being me.
But how did you get to yourself? You gotta explain it. You
I've been,
didn't up like
yeah. My journey, my walk is a unique walk, and nobody can never walk the walk that I walk because you wasn't born the day that I was born. I have a twin brother who came from the same egg as me. Right? We were split in half. I guess it was such a powerful egg that it split. It was like, you know what? We just gonna do two. We're gonna double up. And he's walking a walk that only he could walk. Right? So if as a twin, right, I have a real life living shadow self. You know what I'm talking about? And me and his situation is what you're seeing take place right now. This whole thing is just an interaction between me and my brother. Him and his crew, me and mine. The people that we bring to the table, the people he bring to the table. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to explain because nobody is walking that walk. Nobody, like, I don't know two twin pillars. Because I can't speak about me without speaking about him. That's my balance. There is, I am because of him, and he is because of me. The same way that each one of y'all are because of whoever your doppelganger or whoever your shadow self is. You got one. We just might not see him, but mine is visible. And the history, the walk that I walk, I came up in the 90s. I came up in Brooklyn. I came up in Flatbush. I paid a lot of dues. I went to jail early. You feel me? I went through a lot of pain going through that. I hurt my parents. I let Dr. Sabi down. You know what I mean? Like, we were troubled. We were at-risk youth. My brother did a bid coming out of college, got caught up in some, he got jammed up in a Commonwealth state, and he beat him on a real. They hammered him for lying about his name. Gave him 5 years. So we was doing all of that in the midst of, being seen as, these children are gonna go far, like, because we were prodigies. Me and A.A. Rashid was in a gifted program. We were in a gifted school called Satellite West. It's only for gifted children. You know what I mean? So, the history, growing up with A.A. was a terror. When I talk about Ching Bing, that was his name back in the days. Ching Bing was a terror in the high school era. He used to come up to my high school and terrorize the shit after school on the D train. In the B train, he was, we was doing Brooklyn shit.
now.
I lost a lot of my day ones. I buried a lot of my day. I could go on and do like a 5-day marathon telling you the stories about losing childhood friends in what they call the mean streets, but it wasn't that mean. You know what I mean? Like, I really miss the 90s. You know what I'm saying? As crazy as it was, like, that was an era that created me.
All right, now I'm real fond of saying that you can't exercise power and strength without taking care of your physical body, right? So I
Right.
want to talk to you about health. You mentioned Dr. State, and I know that you and your brother, y'all got this real healthy regimen. So when we deal with the consciousness of the mind, we also got to strengthen the body. Tell us about your interaction with Dr. Sebi, some of the things that are still practiced today in order to lead a healthy lifestyle.
Well, one of the most important things that I practice, that it was taught to me by Dr. Sebi, is first and foremost maintaining a healthy mind. It starts in the mind first, because he showed me, and what he spoke of on many occasions, because he would repeat himself, is that what you think, you can heal yourself. The human body heals itself. It's not necessarily the herbs. It's the body that's going to do it. You're going to convince yourself that are going to be good. You're going to be healthy. And that definitely the herbs are going to assist, but it's ultimately the body that heals itself. So positive affirmations, being able, like I said, being mindful of what you eat, because you eat through your ears, your eyes, and your mouth. So you could be someone who's considered to be a vegan or something, or you eat fruits and vegetables, but all you watch is bum fights, World Star, and your scroll is toxic on your social media or whatnot. Or you watch TV, you watch the news, you get programmed to be in fear every night before you go to sleep, right? Of melanated men, and now melanated women, and the way that they speak about them is with such disdain and, dishonor and whatnot, that you go to sleep with hate on your heart. You don't know why you're having these uncomfortable nightmares and whatnot. Or you don't know why you're waking up foggy and things of that nature. So that part is good. Definitely the supplements, Gold Water, my brother Blue Pill, he has a dynamic product that he launched it about 10 years ago. Of course, when he was doing the sea moss, the Seven Heaven sea moss, that was some of the most delicious sea moss that I've ever tasted in my life. My mother.
No, I said I
Say
had
it again.
The sea moss,
Right. And all of that was the outgrowth of just being around Mama Pill throughout the years, and her just always feeding us the Maya, the Fuchsia, the T2, all of these herbs and whatnot, all of these elixirs. And just later on through life, I would say that was our programming. I would say that my DNA was being programmed from that young age. My daughter, Pink Pill Wisdom, she's 7 years old right now. And like at this age where she's at, that's the age that I was at when I was exposed to Dr. Sebi, and I was getting that enlightenment, and I was, taking the herbs and whatnot. And this was before vegan food was gourmet. This is a new thing with gourmet vegan food, where it has all of these different palettes and these different tastes. It was rice cakes and some other shit back then.
Fun.
Right.
It was not fun.
It wasn't. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, we were really ridiculed. It wasn't really sexy for what my mom's was doing. They wasn't giving her praise like that. She wasn't getting the queen and all of that back then. She was being ridiculed. We were being made fun of. It was frowned upon to eat healthy in this community.
So, Marcia, you had something you want to add?
No. The last thing I wanted to ask about was the red summer. That was the
Yeah. We got to get into that.
Okay.
I apologize, brother. We actually both was gonna come out to the Red Summer Party, and
Okay.
with the timing and everything. And the Red Summer is really a hell of a title, because in 1919 they called that the Red Summer because of all the riots and the uprising from
Right.
that all the way up to New York and Newark, New Jersey, and beyond that to the West Coast. It was just blowing up because white supremacists and police brutality, and that is a very telling name. I want you to tell people about this album and where they can get it from, and what was it like going into making it.
Okay, wonderful question. I appreciate both of you definitely wanting to come out to the album release. It was a movie, you know what I mean? We filmed it with a movie camera, and we're going to be premiering it on Bandcamp very soon. And before they do this lockdown thing and have people in a state of lockdown, we're going to do another live show, where it'll be one more performance live. So we'll be able to, get it in as well. Now, the idea to do the Red Summer came to me during the summer. I was actually in album mode working on my follow up to my 2016 release, Scorpion King. I was doing the second Scorpion King this year. I started it on my birthday, November 14th of last year. And I came to Atlanta on Juneteenth. No, I went to Lee County, North Carolina on Juneteenth, right before I got to Atlanta. I went and did a lecture out there, and I was talking about taking down a Robert E. Lee statue. The police was out there 100 deep, right? They made us cancel the event. We went and had it anyway, and they were basically trying to run me out of the town because they were like, "How did?" They had an article in the newspaper about me, and I had to have armed security, while I was doing my lecture to make sure that I was safe. I felt very safe. I didn't feel threatened at all. I was actually told about the news article as I was leaving the city. You know what I mean? Okay. And but it charged me up. Like, it gave me this invigoration because, we coming out of the COVID and everything, and the summer's just beginning. So in the beginning of the summer is that new energy. You know what I mean? You're getting into the summer. You don't know what you're getting into. But it was charged up because of the George Floyd situation. Mm-hmm. Keep that in mind, that it was very charged up. The statues were coming down. The Confederates were under fire, right? They were seeing a lot of uprisings and whatnot. So when they heard that I was coming to town, for Juneteenth to raise up the few hundred Black people in that town, right, who haven't been raised up like that before, they were offended by that and they felt threatened and whatnot. So I blew through there like a storm. The next day it rained, it poured, and 300 Black people came out and marched. And they went and marched on the precinct because there's a sheriff in Lee County who's been there for 51 years. And I'm not going to tell you the atrocities that he has caused people with melanin in that county. But Robert E. Lee is the courthouse. That's the name of the courthouse. So you know what they're doing to our people over there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So then I came to I came to Atlanta and my life changed. It always does, right? Because I've been coming here since 97, right? I lived here for 3 years, 97 to 2000. I planted a lot of seeds. I was in them trenches. Yeah, I was in them trenches, and what, pardon me, I just got a text. What happened to me this time is that I met up with my brother. Matter of fact, the first night that we came out here, we went to the same place where King Von got killed. Monaco, the hookah bar, that whole strip.
Yeah.
That shit was wild as F that night. Matter of fact, no. Was that the night? I think the first day I got there in the daytime, we seen Little Baby. Because they were doing this big thing. They was doing this big thing in this open field. And Little Baby had performed. And we met Little Baby. We met a few people backstage. They brought us backstage.
Are you talking about at Centennial Park?
At Centennial, yeah. And it was lit too. It was lit because we was walking through there and mad people was running up to us. Yo, Red, 19 Keys is like a star out here. You know what I'm talking about? They got him on. He on celebrity status. So they was running down on Keys. Then they was running down on me and Blue. Then they was running up to Billionaire. And then they brought us backstage. We seen a few of the celebrities. And then that night, we was at that hookah bar. And something was eerie. It was an eerie feeling and whatnot. And then when they was busting off the fireworks, but then they was busting in the air and everything. But we in Atlanta, you could do shit like that. Mm-hmm. So I wound up going to Miami with my brother and Bashir and Keys. We just hopped on a plane a few days later, went to Miami to kind of like charge up and get ready for the summer. And I had like an awakening, what I'm talking about? Because one of the reasons why I was following the spirit is because, Sometimes you need to charge up, but sometimes you need to go to the beach and heal. You know, I'm very drawn to nature when it comes to healing. I can't heal in the city. You know, I can't heal in the house. You know, I gotta go into the woods, the forest, the rainforest. I gotta go somewhere and connect, like you connect to Wi-Fi to nature.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta connect like that. So my modality of connecting is plant-based medicines, psilocybin and whatnot. So, you know, I went through that and things just started opening up. And life is about experiences. So experiences just started happening. And, you know, I just began to tap into my powers. And I came back to Atlanta to host a lecture that my brother did called, and him and A.A. Rashid did, called Dark Matter Timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in Dark Matter Timing, I was the host for that event. And I came out here, I was staying in Buckhead, and Billionaire, my dude Billionaire, he got a dope luxury condo. It got all the amenities, you know what I mean? Spa, you know what I'm saying? Media room. It's just lit, right? And it makes you feel like, yo, this is how we supposed to be living anywhere that we at.
Mm-hmm.
How dare, you know what I'm saying? Not to make anybody feel like they're not supposed to be living minimalized or living like, you know, because I love a old time country spot. I could be on a rocking chair on the porch. It's old wood. You know what I mean? Like I'm still into shit like that. I'm not about everything got to be modernized and everything. But as people who are standing on their estate, I know the land that my people are from. I know that I'm standing on my own land. I know that I'm standing on my estate. I know that all of the gemstones that are in the mountains, and I know the gold that was in Georgia mountains. I know that red clay. I know all of this shit is my people's.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? I definitely know. So I don't think minimalize. I stand in any tower, any castle that this city has built. I'm like, I got a key to that door. There's no doors that I can't walk through. There's no houses that I can't live in. There's no towers that I can't be in. There's no castles that I can't sleep in because I understand what my family, my bloodline, and my network and my master teachers and the shoulders that I stand on. I know the shit that they did, so I know my rightful place. You
Talk
know, and that's not me being arrogant or cocky or anything. It's just based off of my discoveries of knowing thyself.
talk that talk, black man.
Real talk. You know what I mean? I know. I don't think it at this point. I know it. I meditated on the Etowah Mounds right there in Cartersville in 2009. I had the downloads. I went to the Stone Mountain. I went on top of Stone Mountain in 2009, and we did a banishment ritual. We went on the side that they said stay away from. We went on that side, and we saw all of the KKK shit. We saw we put it on YouTube. They had a shrine made out of rocks with a picture of a black woman on it. We seen all of that shit. We did a lot of work in this red clay, and on camera and off camera. You know what I mean? So come in here, and when the ancestors, when they talk black to me, I live on Moreland Ave, and my name is Moreland. Like I have an ancestral tie to this land. So when the ancestors are talking to me, oh, I listen. So on that trip, we put a studio right in the crib, and I had open sessions, and that's when the Red Summits began.
Mm.
And I met a sister by the name of Sabrina at AA's Airbnb. Right, she was in the living room. She's one of his students. He has an online university called Red House. She was cooking up beats in the living room, and I was like, I want to work with you. I love your energy. Real talk, because I'm in Atlantis. This is about the divine feminine energy at motherfucking work. Not to sit around and look at. This shit is active. Just they out here working. So I'm like, I want to work with you.
Yeah.
We did. I lost my voice because I was hosting for 2 nights, right? 2 days, and I lost my voice. I have recorded a song on a hoarse voice, and I didn't like it because I don't want to sound that hoarse, and I sounded like I had COVID. But the next day, 1 hour before my flight was about to leave, we recorded a song that turned into a song called Ride of the Valkyries. Right? Ride of the Valkyries, which is a lot of people are saying is the best song on that album that they like.
What does explain that to me?
Huh?
Explain that to me. What does that mean? The title. Say it again.
Ride of the Valkyries.
Okay.
Ride of the Valkyrie.
Yeah, Ride of the Valkyries.
What does Valkyrie mean?
Valkyries are like these are the entities, you know. Just picture the gods and the Valkyries riding in on the sunset. You know, like in a movie when they get their ass beat and they about to get bodied by Thanos, and then you see somebody riding on the sunset on the horizon. That's the Valkyries.
All right, okay.
So we did Ride of the Valkyries. She sent me the song when I got back. I was staying in Connecticut. She sent me the song, and when I heard it, I'm like, this is a different sound. This don't sound like that whatchamacallit, the Red Summer. I mean, it don't sound like Scorpion King, because you know every album, every project have a different sound.
Mm-hmm.
So then she sent me a beat pack, and I was like, yo, I went in the studio and I recorded 3 songs: China Flow, Cold World, and Freeform. And those 3 songs brought out a version of me that no other beats have done before.
Mm-hmm.
So I just knew it was something special. And then I flew back down on 9/11 to do the Mystic Fair with Mama Tassili, and I was doing a showcase, a concert with Sister Amina. You know Sister Amina, right?
Oh yeah, she's in my document. Shout out to that sister.
Facts. Yeah, that's my people's right there. We go way back, like to 2011. I'll tell that story with her one day on your show. And Kambada, who I'm featured on his album LSD. He has one rapper on the album, one guest rapper, that's me, on a song called 24 Hours. But he's also a co-feature. He's almost like Ghostface on the Red Summer.
Wasn't he on your other album, Scorpio King?
He was Ghostface on Scorpion King. You know, me and that man met up to do the work that we doing, to kill shit. You know what I'm saying? We met up. He was watching me, and then A.A. Rashid told me who he was music-wise. I went and listened to him and was like, oh, this dude is different. And then he knew about me through YouTube. He was watching me, but I'm not watching him. See, that's the thing with this internet. People watching me, but how do I know who you are? People watching me who I could benefit off of if I knew them, but we don't never get together. So the lost potential dealing with cyberspace could create frustration and anxiety in the minds of people who are progressives and who need resources and who need to link up with certain people and do things because time is limited. And if you're a creative that are here to create shit and do things, you don't have time to play. And I'm a New Yorker, so we work. I'm still in Atlanta. I'm holding on to that New York minute shit. No, I'm lying. No, I'm not. I was in the crib laid up, mad days. Just letting the sun set. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing things, but I'm not doing it in a New York kind of fashion. Because when I came down here, me and Kambada was on some New York shit. So we knocked out like 10 songs in 2 days. I met for the first time professionally Lizzie Jeff.
Okay, yeah, that's a sister from Cali, right?
Whew. That's more than a sister from Cali. Like, yeah, that's the goddess. She is the future and the now. I met America Sutton at a drumming circle. She is one of the most dynamic artists that I've ever met in my life. You know, we all were witnessing this in real time, me and Kambada. It was a talent pool. It was almost like being in an Olympic pool of talent. We had sessions. We had an Airbnb. So every night, I'm talking about, I don't mean to cut your wisdom. There was nights I went to sleep at 8 a.m.
Was that when that was over there behind Tassili's?
Yeah, that was part of it. Yeah, that was the Mystic Fair. Yeah, that was the Mystic Fair.
And the next day, I seen it on Instagram, and I was like, you know what?
Man.
I know they're gonna be here the next day. I came the next day, but I only stayed for an hour.
So this is the power, and this is black magic, right? Instead of being spooky, this is how black magic works. You can't recreate moments.
No.
You understand? You have to be. That's where leadership comes in. That's why I say we got to be our own leaders. We have to write our own story. We have to direct our own movies. I'm sorry. I don't mean to put it in people's laps like that. We have to be inspired by each other. I'm utilizing inspiration as a driving force. I'm utilizing when I watch a documentary, I'm getting inspired. You know what I mean? I'm going to build with you. This is called digital convergence, what we're doing right now. I have a brand, you have a brand. I got a platform, you got a platform. I don't say, oh no, I can't talk to that brother. How dare you know what I mean? Hell to the no. I'm a midget. I grow taller with every alliance.
Absolutely.
That's how you become a giant. Because of the shoulders that I'm standing on, I'm responsible to so many great ones. I let them down before in life. I have anxiety about shit like that because I'm the red pill. So I'm the red spectrum of the light. My brother's the blue pill. You know what I mean? So look at it in a chakra sense. Look at it in a light sense. We represent two completely different energies. And that's what my music reflects. My music is red pillar energy. It's red chakra, red pill energy. I'm not trying to be like nobody else. And I'm not lying about I'm not a teenager. I'm not a child. And I'm giving people, the perspective of a 40-plus-year-old man who is in a position of his life that many people could never have dreamed of. But I'm still a creative and I still got to make music for my, there's still a part of me that needs to express itself because I used to be a professional artist with the pen. Well, I still am for that matter, but the way that I pick up my artistry is now not just through the pen to create a picture. I'm creating pictures with words. My father's an English professor, so he wanted me to go to Parsons. He wanted me to go to the New School. He had us as walk-ins, and we were so embroiled and entangled with the streets that we were like, nah, we good. He's a jazz man, so I'm just doing, what my grandfather on my mother's side. He's one of the first calypso singers. His name is Prince Thomas, who came from St. Croix to America. He was a hero of the whole Virgin Islands for that. Performed at the Apollo. So I'm just carrying on tradition. So we dived in. We created mad music. I only was able to create 14 because everything is about numerics.
Mm-hmm.
So the concept album that I created is called Red Summer. It's chronicalizing my summer through the 3 months of the summer. The 3 months of the summer is June, July, and August. In those 3 months are 4 weeks. So 444. If anybody that knows, we are, deep into the law of 44. So the 444, so 4 weeks of June. The way that I track the songs and sequence them, it's a soundtrack. It's not an album. It's a concept album / soundtrack. It's a visual component to it. I'm telling a story. I'm giving you a vision. I'm giving you a whole narrative. In that vision and in those narratives, I'm interjecting my narrative. I'm giving you the gems. I'm giving you the Easter eggs. I'm inviting you. I'm introducing you to new people. I'm obeying the laws of theater. The structure is set up like theater. It's 3 acts. Each act is a month. It's set up in 3 acts. Each act is a month. I'm introducing you to Lizzie Jeff. The second song on the album is Good Wife. That's me and Cambada trying to get at her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting at her from a red pill standpoint. You know what I mean? Where I'm just, I'm on my red pill shit. I'm swaggerific, And then Cam is getting at her on a higher chakra shit. You know what I mean? He's hotepping her. Right? He hotepping her. And then she hits us with the goddess shit.
Okay.
And then at the end of it, it's a pro-polygyny song. She takes both of us.
Oh, wow.
She takes both of us. How about that? Yeah. I'm putting
Did
on
you
for
say
you.
polygamy?
Polygyny.
Oh, okay.
It's a polygyny song. So at the end, she don't choose either one of us. She choose both of us. So we don't have to compete. We don't gotta fall out. We don't gotta be at each other's throats. She gonna get charged up by two guards versus cutting herself off by just trying to choose one. She negated herself. So that's how she giving it up in the song. That is. This is entertainment.
Nah, yeah.
No, this is the mythos. This is not entertainment. This is the mythos. We're dealing with the mythos through entertainment. There's certain things I can't say on StreamYard. It's certain expressions that I can't share on the stage during a lecture. I'm gonna do it in my music. I'm not gonna be suppressed. You know what I mean? There's a part of me that has to speak.
Before you further,
yeah.
right? You know what they say when the earth get caught between two suns, right? Nah, but I know you figuratively speaking.
Of course.
No, the idea is dope.
I mean, we gotta, my whole thing is, I'm
talk about shooting that video, man.
I'm stretching the consciousness into, I don't want to do my story. My story is a dope story, but I'm in the realm. I'm a performance artist. I'm an Afrofuturist. I'm going to bend the spoon. I'm the red pill. I'm going to do through film and through music what I've done through YouTube, through blogs, through posts. You know what I mean? Like, it's still that nothing ever changes. So the further that we get, that's the further that the mythos will get. That's how I'm seeing it. And my team is strong. On the creative side, I'm surrounded by some geniuses, some polyglots. Blurs. We got a lot of people, but I'm very excited about this project because I promise you, this one is the one. The other ones are the one too. That's another thing. We're going to be doing live concerts through Bandcamp.
Yo, so how can people, we got to wrap it up in a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Before we leave, right, I want Marcia to end it out by asking you the last question. And then I want you to tell people where they can get the album. And then I want you to make sure that people reach a portal of higher consciousness by going to Know the Ledge Radio. So let them know about that. Let them know about Kings County Clothing. Let them know about, the cryptocurrency,
Forex.
That's the last thing I want you to leave everybody with. But I want Marcy Lee to ask you the last and final question.
Well, I think you asked a lot of questions, and he can go ahead and just pick one of those.
And those are not questions.
Because I was going to ask him about the clothes, so it's just the same thing. It don't matter.
Alike. So yeah.
You can ask me though.
So tell us about the clothing line. Tell us where we could find the album at. Tell us about the Forex trading for those that want to come and join your team, and how they can find you on social media.
Excellent. Well, the clothing line is one of my flagships brands. Kings County has been with me from day one. That's my baby. That is my wardrobe. When I got into this community, I knew that this was a level of warfare. I knew that I was going to have to reflect how I felt by the way that I dressed. And I was able to sacrifice the old me through my wardrobe, through my uniform. I was showing uniformity with the information that I was beginning to receive. I was able to show uniformity to where my mind was going by changing my uniform. It was a lifestyle choice. So, I was putting motifs of the ancient. I started out with King Tut shirts, right? And I started out with a masterpiece that my brother drew of a pharaoh in the ghetto. He was by the train station. It's a masterpiece. We're gonna have it in poster form very soon, right? But for all of my day ones, they know what I'm talking about. The pharaoh picture. He got a Rolex on. And I was putting these images on T-shirts in like 2005 when that wasn't the wave. Nobody understood what it was about. People were like, they were confused. Like, what's that? You know what I mean? But I've watched throughout the years to where they went from what's that to where everybody knows what that is. So I'm able to measure my growth and development by how far we've come just as a culture. This was for the culture. You know what I mean? I did this as a cultural ambassador, the same person who introduced my hood to Hilfiger, and one of the same people who was dumping bags, garbage bags full of polo. We were boosters, so we were always into fashion. You know what I mean? Yeah. Well, G-Force is my crew.
G-Force, okay.
We was like they had low life ops. Not all of them, but some of them. They had a few of them.
I know about them.
But the low lifes, they definitely paved the way and did their thing. Steam Team, G-Force, Ralphie's Kids, it's a bunch of them. They need their own movies, you know what I mean? Because that they need, that's a coming of age. If people want to understand Brooklyn, you got to understand the boosters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Their contribution to fashion, because fashion is what the club, that's what Bad Boy is built off of. That's what Biggie is built off of. That's what Jay's whole run is built off of. You know what I mean? It is other luxurious things, but it all started with the clothes. You know what I mean? And that's as a Brooklyn dude, that's our thing. You know what I mean? Like when I came to Atlanta in 1997, it was instead of drugs, it was the clothes. I'm not a drug dealer. I sell clothes to the drug dealers. You know what I'm talking about? I understood what fiends were. I understood what being addicted to something was, because I had drug dealers fiending for Iceberg, fiending for Moschino, fiending for DKNY, Versace. We brought all of that fashion with us to the A. We was in 112. We was in Otto's. We was in Gentleman's Club. You know what I mean? We was in original 112. We were in old school Atlanta.
Vision.
It was not. Yeah, we was in Visions. Before Vision, before Velvet. So I'm early Atlanta, and we were planting seeds because we were carrying out the edicts of Jay-Z and Biggie, Money Cash Holes. You got to remember, the artists, they hot, but they're not the ones. You got to remember, it's not the artists that create the mythos. It's the niggas that the artists are rapping about. It's their city. It's the people who take their message into other cities and represent for those artists. Jay-Z's Allure comes about through Bed-Stuy, Crowns Height, and Flatbush, and some Brownsville niggas, and what they've done in Atlanta, what they've done. I'm not gonna mention people's names. What they've done in California. I mean, it's because of the street lore, the undergirdings that only people in the streets know about. That's what gives these people their credibility. It's not them per se. So we speak to, when people see me on channels like this, or when they see me chopping it up with Lord Jamar, they understand, like, oh, that's one of us. They made it. They made it through. That's the red and the blue now. That's twin. I was in a skating ring with them. So if they see me, then they could see them somewhere, because that's how we gotta lead. That's how we gotta lead by example. We gotta put on, and we gotta be mindful that we putting on for more than just ourselves.
Putting on for the culture.
Put on for the culture. I can't. Yeah. So with the clothes, many different clotheslines popped off, and just seeing it made me. I don't need nobody's accolades for nothing. I know my work. I know what I've done. I know the seeds that I planted. I know the sacrifice that it took to stand out there in Harlem with my back to the street for 15 years. I talk a lot of shit. You know what I'm talking about? I'm the red pill. I talk big boy shit, big God energy. And I was fearless. I stood with my back to the street, because where I'm on 125th Street, it's cars flying down the block like this. I used to have the first few years, the police was harassing us. They tried to kill my brother. They put him in the Eric Garner chokehold. He took 10 in the morning. His video is on YouTube.
We was in front of Mark 125th.
Facts, right in front of Mark. That's why my brand is called the Mark 125th. I have an online mall that I'm launching in 21 called the Mark 125th. And it's going to sell everybody's merchandise the same way that the Mark did.
Wingy.
Wingy.
Yeah.
Nike is not just in Nike Town. It's everywhere. So I'm selling everybody's shit on the biggest online Black-owned mall called Mark 125th. I'm opening up import-export with Africa. I already know we sat in the UK Parliament last year. We put it on film. We sat in the UK Parliament and we brokered deals with the Queen of the Congo, Queen Diambi. She's also the ordained queen in New Orleans and in Brazil. And she's bringing us, and she's opening up all of these markets for trade, because they told us when we were having a meeting that the biggest thing that we need to get into is import export. So I'm not bringing Chinese knockoffs. I'm bringing real things to the mall. I know hundreds of small businesses, and I just call them entrepreneurs. I know hundreds of entrepreneurs. And we're going to have a mentorship program to bring in more new entrepreneurs. I just did a 4-week course with Billionaire PA where we're giving the 4 pillars of business. You know what I'm talking about? It was for 4 weeks. We taught them about, we had 4, each week we had a special guest. We gave them a CPA. We brought them an entity lawyer. We brought them an accountant. And we brought them 2 people who could clean up business credit and personal credit. All of them professionals, all of them melanated. You know what I'm talking about? All of them part of our networks. So this thing is shout out to Knowledge Born Allah in the building. I belong to a huge network. There's 7 days in a week. You know, you could buy 7 different designers. Or if you fly like that, just buy 7 fits. Be Kings County from head to toe for 7 days, and then go and do your athletics for 7 days, and go and get your AA Rashid, go and get your Wingy apparel. You know, this is about, there's 365 days in a year. People want to talk about designer this, designer that. This is the future. You know what I mean? In 100 years, this is going to be a collector's. This is going to be worth more than what it is right now. I'll be saving clothes. I put a lot of the stuff that I made now in storage because I don't even want to sell it, because I know that it's going to be worth something down the line, more than what it's worth now. So yeah, we cooking. We setting up manufacturing in Atlanta. My main goal is to become a fulfillment center. I want to do the fulfillment for all of the Black brands that I know, because I know that they don't like shipping, and a lot of people don't like production, because production is labor. Labor is time. Time is something that you don't have. Sweat equity is something that everybody don't have, especially when you're chasing multiple streams of income. So we have streamchasers.com. I want everybody to come and sign up to streamchasers.com. If you're into chasing streams, if you want more than one income stream in your life, Stream Chasers is the place that you need to be. We already have 3 streams running right now. We have the Forex that we are part of, Epic trading, Forex trading. And that team right there is building by the day. You know what I'm saying? And it's super duper detailed. You get PDFs, you get telegraphs, you get hands-on lessons every day. You get all of these different pips. You're going to be linked in with a network where multiple people from different other organizations that have now closed up and whatnot, they became part of Epic. So you have leadership that has experience in the building. And then another income stream that we're dealing with, all of these are MLM or basically 4x4 setups because of the Stream Chaser mentality that it's going to take us to get us together. And it's going to take the more of us that are participating as a group in group economics, the faster we're able to solve many of our problems. Mm-hmm. So if we go into something that's based off of building up legs and whatnot, and it's 50 or 100 of us, then we're going to build up way quicker than if it's just 2 of us. We've solved what the problem is, or we solved what the challenge is. Because people will discredit you to do things like that. It's because they don't have 100 people. They don't have 50 people. They had 5 people. So they were carrying all of these ambitions of becoming wealthy and rich and breaking the matrix and whatnot. But they was doing it with 5 people. And the 4th person was shady. But if you have a team of some dedicated people, if it's 50 of all, if it's 100 of you, you're going to break the bank. That's the key. They know that we don't stick together. They know that we don't work together. That's why we're not winning in those spaces. That's why people who don't look like us, pale faces, are winning in those spaces because they stick to plans. They may want to eat each other, but they stick to the plan. They be having tasks and whatnot, and they'll have a task to eat you later on down the line, but they'll thug it out with you for about a few years. So the next stream that we have is 7K metals. We're dealing with silver and gold, numismatic silver and gold, meaning the highest grade, not the bullion, not that white star, numismatic. So if you're sitting on 10 racks, this is for people that are into savings. If you're sitting on 10 racks of fiat right now, you are a tightrope walker because you don't know any day now that dollar is going to fall through the damn floor. It's losing value by the day. If you're not putting it into crypto or silver and gold, why don't you just buy coins and let that sit? Why don't you just go ahead and do some big Willie shit and buy a big ass bar? For all you niggas on a money phone, buy a gold bar. It looks better. You're gonna hear better on it. Get you a kilo of gold. Buy some gold jewelry. Get into the silver, mostly silver. I'm real heavy. I'm bullish on silver and whatnot. So there's a program that's set up with that. They have I bought a Trump coins. I got Trump coins. Those are collectors. No matter any way you spend it, it's still going to be a collector's items. You know what I mean? So there's perks that come with the company. I'm making a lot of money by bringing people in. You know what I mean? And it's the 4x4. So, we helping families survive because that's where it's at this point. This shit is about survival.
Right.
The lockdown is coming.
You on Bandcamp and you on?
Yeah, I'm on all streaming platforms first and foremost. Yeah, I don't want to make this. Yeah, I decided to feed it.
iTunes, that's Google Play, that's everything.
Amazon. I'm on all of that. I'm on Instagram Music. When you on your stories and you make a video, if you do a TikTok for the Red Summer, I think we're giving out $1,000. We're gonna have a prize coming up real soon. You know what I mean? Because we want the family to show us their TikToks and do what they do. Do your thing because they doing it with everything else. So I never want to remove myself or try to act like this is different than enjoy this music like you enjoy any music. That's why this album is very palatable. I got different flows and it's different styles and it's heavily influenced by the southern playalistic Atlantis sound.
Okay.
Real quickly, man, take them through the portals of consciousness and tell them where they can know the Ledge media at, where they want to do.
Right. Well, the redsummer.com, I forgot to mention, the redsummer.com is the website for where you could get the physical album. And we're going to have the merch. We got the hats, the hoodies, and the shirts for the Red Summer album. And you can also watch the videos that we have. We have 2 videos, one for Sherman Hemsley and one for Rider of the Valkyries. Well, the Rider of the Valkyries is a teaser. And then it's also the Instagram feed on there. So you can get familiar with Red Pill on the gram and whatnot, but theredpillar.com, that's the website. Go and visit it and go to Know the Ledge Radio on Blog Talk Radio. Know the Ledge Radio is on Blog Talk Radio and it's also on Apple. You can find it on Apple Podcasts. And I think I went through Anchor, so it's in a few places. Yeah. Just put Know the Ledge Radio wherever podcasts are at. And I have some selected episodes. We did 6 shows with Dr. Sabi. We did 30 shows with Dr. Phil Valentine. We got Umar Johnson, early Umar. We got vintage Umar. Real talk. We got early Umar.
2010, 2012.
Yeah, early my guy. Yeah. We got everybody. Okay. And the information is timeless. Go and check out Who's the Prophet. Go and listen to these prophets. There's a lot of them. Bro.
On YouTube too.
Know the Ledge. They got clips of Know the Ledge Radio on YouTube. Yeah. We got the app coming back though. The app is gonna have all of the shows. It's gonna be set up. We're working on our own streaming platform We have Netflix for the media, for the movies and whatnot, and we coming with KTO, No to Ledge Radio, and that's gonna be like a Spotify, because there's too many dope artists around me. The people need to hear them, and I'm not giving it up to Tidal or Spotify or Apple Music to curate the fucking movement. I'm not letting them do that. That's not their task. They don't know what they're listening. They could never get it right. Only us can get it right.
Absolutely.
So 21 is about ownership, bossing up, bringing our resources together, loving on each other, being our own bosses, our own leaders, holding each other accountable, implementing the three-tier system, the value system, the penalty system, and the quote-unquote respect system. No, the reward system. So when you do right, when you do good for your people, you get rewarded. When you do right, when you do good for your people, you get valued, right? And when you mess up and when you do wrong to your people, you are going to be penalized. They're gonna get at you. There's no way you could go on this planet and you're gonna be all right. So we're gonna implement. That's right. We're gonna put a system together, and we're also gonna introduce the black tax and the black vote.
The black tax.
The black tax. You could, if we implemented a black tax in Atlanta, just on the bars, just on the strip clubs, just on the gambling spots, just everywhere where people are not being taxed, where our people are at, right? Just on the hookah bars, just on the black restaurants. If we had a black tax to create a black budget that we can allocate every single month to do what? To buy back neighborhoods, to rebuild these factories, to put machinery, right? To get this shit, all these rust towns need to have factories up and running. Look at what Amazon did.
Yeah.
They did that with factories. No, I'm just saying Amazon became Amazon. They are a fulfillment center. They're not making anything. They're just a holding fulfillment center that ships goods. They did that.
Raping me, man, for my DVD, boy. Amazon, they take like 40%.
Look at
So you do a high number of volume on there, you're gonna see some money, but it's
but we gotta fix the model. The model is not advantageous to us. They are making trillions of dollars off of shit that we supposed to be making trillions of dollars off of. It's our fucking content. We know what our worth. We created a whole movement off of talking about white people, bro. Like, why do we need them?
Don't.
I'm just saying, look at the irony of it all. There's a whole cottage industry. I'm talking about it's worth millions upon millions, if not billions. Yeah. Add up the receipts. And
I say I definitely feel you on that when you talk about the reward system, the penalty. Justice is a penalty and reward. So whichever side of history you're gonna be on, it's either you're gonna be on the right side of history or the wrong side. So we definitely got to get back to that. I love the idea of the black tax and the black code, man. We got to have some type of code. So listen, we've been going out 40 minutes, man.
Definitely.
Wrap this up, man. This is Rahiem Shabazz, Marcy Lee, and my brother, Red. So real quick before we go, man, y'all can't see these comments, but I'm gonna read a few to y'all. Dave Duke 69 said, "What's up? Yeah, the lexicon, Shizik. I guess that's what he was saying. We got Shaman Rock. He said, peace to the God and goddess.
Right. Peace.
We got Darren Dallas. He said, I somewhat agree. It's not what people think of you or words they call you. It's what you respond to and how you respond. That's what's important. Then he said, he went and left another comment. He said, the hand that rocks the cradle always rules the world. And then someone else said, until we as black people learn to unify and quit killing each other, nothing's going to change. We have to have discipline within ourselves. Okay. We as black people today have no unity. Listen, you're coming with the we as black people. Listen, black people got unity. The people you around ain't got unity. And everybody is not going to be able to come together. And we can be uniform. And we don't have to be uniform in our belief, but we got to be unified in our struggle. You was positive for a little minute. I don't want to hear that negative shit. All right, then we got I ain't gonna butcher your name, but I'm just gonna say, he said, be one to the foundation, black family. Then we got the God, knowledge born of law. Peace to the God. He said, peace to the God, Rahiem Shabazz, Empress Marcy Lee, and what he say? DJ Red Pillar, excellent.
The Jedi, like the
Okay,
Jedi.
Jedi. Oh, you can see it?
Yeah, I can see it.
Oh, okay. I didn't think you could see it. The Jedi. Okay. You got too many attributes for me, man. You
Now
know,
that's a comedic term when you are like a Jedi Knight. You have your back. The Jed pillar is the pillar that has the straight backbone. So when you stand up for yourself, when you stand tall, you are a Jedi Knight.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought it was just two pillars, red pillar and blue pillar. I didn't know they had the Jedi pillar. You didn't tell me about that one, man. Come on, man.
Oh no.
That's another podcast, another episode,
Yeah,
man.
I would love to talk about the Jed pillar in one of your shows. You know, keep in mind I got my brother Blue Pill, you know, and also my younger brother KT the arts degree. You
Indeed.
know, yeah. So if you and Mama Pill as well, we bringing her back out on the media junket very soon.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll be on it too.
Still been here twice. He been in my crib. He been here twice.
That's right. All right. So I'm just
A
following.
year to get you, man. It took me a whole year.
Right. So I'm here now. I'm honored to be here, man. I appreciate y'all. Y'all were very welcoming. I love the questions. It was a great stream. I look forward to doing the follow ups and whatnot in the future.
Absolutely, man. We're gonna come out for your release.
Oh yeah. Please do. Matter of fact, maybe I could do a review on the album. I'm looking for some of that.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna try to make one of those Melanin Monday. I've been there one time. I'm gonna try to do one more before they lock it down.
Well, why don't you be one of my special guests?
Oh, we could
have you up there. Yeah, I want to have you. I want to make you one of my special guests, so you could be the keynote speaker.
All right.
Do your one too, because you know the people need to need to see your light. There's some people who might not know who you are.
Oh, absolutely.
So let's set that up.
All right, we do that. You know, me and you and your brother, we shared the stage before at the shrine.
Right. Lit. Yeah. So,
do it again.
Does anybody have that footage?
Huh?
Does anybody got that footage?
I might have a little bit of it, but there's a brother that matter of fact, he said to me, he's on Instagram. I hit him up for you.
If I had a time machine, I would go back and get all my footage because that's the shit that I be missing.
A lot of mines because
damn, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was looking at something the other day, and I said this to my little sister. My little sister was like, "Man, you was element, you know."
Content is king. I ain't seen one of these niggas get that tattooed on their face yet.
What?
Content is king.
Oh, content is king.
Content is king. That's the most prevalent shit. Your content, bro.
Absolutely. Well, peace and black power. I'm out of here.
Black power, y'all. All right, man. Peace.
One for the history books. Another one. All right.